Well, the decision process on the piazza and the waterfront is different because the piazza, under the zoning put in under the master plan, requires a approval or recommendation of the city council, given the higher density that's being proposed downtown in a residential project like this. In this particular case, therefore, the mayor and the city council needed to recommend it, and the planning board was required, before it approved the project, to consider that recommendation. Now, that resolution happened to fall off the council's agenda that night. It was added as an emergency, so no one else knew it was going to be on the council agenda that night. So no one else showed up with an interest in that project because no one knew about it. I don't know if it's a coincidence that the developer was a large contributor, developers are large contributors to the mayor, but be that as it may, the project was approved and sent to the planning board. Not adjourned because it wasn't on the agenda, but simply approved and sent on. And I was at the piazza meeting. You've never seen such overwhelming opposition, public opposition to the project as you saw that night. The only people who spoke in favor of that project were the developer and the people they hired to come there and tell us, it's not going to hit any cars, no children are going to be added to our school district, no noise, no pollution, a lot of bull. You know, the public was perfectly right in the fact that they had no say in that project. As far as the waterfront is concerned, well, that project is so drastically different now than it was before that we have to go back to the drawing board on that. And the public is absolutely right. This is not the project, it's not the project we knew about a year ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago. It's totally different. And we need to go back and look at this thing all over again.
2 minutes for Mr.
Let's start with the first one, the Piazza project. When we did the master plan, one of the things we did was any downtown housing, we'd have the council have an opportunity to make any suggestions to make the project more amenable to downtown living. We do not, the city council does not approve the density or any such thing. The density for the project is already in the zoning. It's the complete responsibility of the planning board members. Any variances go to the zoning board members. The approval that we did, and it was a public meeting, though Mr. Miller wasn't there that night, one of the 3 or 4 meetings he missed. That was one of the nights he missed. And the council passed a resolution requesting that the planning board, or sending back the planning board, just requesting that they include Wi-Fi in the Village Piazza, that they contribute money for any parking they don't have, so we could improve the elevators and they put a park nearby. It was, it has nothing to do with the density or the building itself. That's all planning board stuff. It was just to soften it up and make it more attractive to people downtown. As far as the waterfront goes, first of all, the Piazza also. The Piazza has been talked about for a couple of years, and it was in the public for 6 months at least. That, just like he said, the people who were there were people hired and paid for by the developers. The people against it were people he brought down there. It's the same thing as going on here today. As far as I'm saying people who already made up their mind. People made up their mind about things. The council meetings, same thing. All right, it's okay. The Piazza project was 6 months in front of the public. We've had 506 public meetings in the City Hall. We've had 215 public hearings. I mean, you're here today, but I don't see the same. I see some of the same faces, but not many of them. The public process is the process. The decision-making process is a public process. You come down and you bring your comments and ideas and questions, and they get answered. They get answered by professionals. The planning board members do a great job. They're volunteers. But that's the public process. It's not done anywhere else. It's done in the public process, and meetings and minutes kept.
I think we're probably stepping over into the next questions, but we might have rolling all into one. But as far as the Piazza is concerned, as far as the waterfront is concerned, yes, what people's complaints are, well, the complaints are something I mentioned earlier. We go there, everyone wants to know, okay, this is a project, it's going to burden our infrastructure, it might bring some more children onto our schools, it's going to cause congestion, but, you know, if we're really going to benefit by it, you know, maybe we'll think about it. What's the gain to us in our pockets? How much are we going to see in taxes? And the answer, you know what it always is? Well, we don't know.
The waterfront project, first of all, was a binding contract that was entered into before he took office, number one. Number two, Mr. Mealy asked me for a copy of that contract in in the first quarter of 2006, and he's never said a thing to me since about it as far as any suggestions or any helpful, and this is in his area of expertise, law. So I've been fighting for the city by myself, pretty much, getting the heights down, trying to make this a better project. The public process is denoted throughout New York State. We have zoning laws and planning boards. These are functioning boards that sit there and listen to professionals, people who are hired for environmental studies, state law. Everything that's done is done by law and regulation.
Yeah. 30 seconds.
You have to know that our planning board has 3 holdovers. In other words, people who have served well beyond their 2 consecutive 3-year terms, which means they now serve at the mercy or at the pleasure of the mayor and the city council. You need to also know that one of them is an employee of the city. So, and then the mayor, who's going to turn the pilots, is the chairman of the IDA. So, do you really think we're going to get a fair shake, that the public's going to get a fair shake when it comes to this deal?
That's not true. First of all, the planning board does have unanimous vote, so if this was true that I control the 3 people who are holdovers, which is 20 years experience, Mr. Tom Scott's been in this since the Region Administration, does a great job. This waterfront project is a long, drawn-out project, talking about 8 years now, and there's a lot of experience there. So you don't just throw people out. All those experiences start from scratch every time with new people. We actually talked about alternatives at one point. These people vote unanimously very often. It has nothing to do with holders. I do not control that board. And the employee he's talking about, Ms. Cindy Rogers, she works for the youth board. That happened just recently because a woman who worked ran with me last time, Saharsky with Reggie, went to move to Florida with her children, and she took the job, a part-time job. She said, I have no influence over these people.
And the mayor's right, he did have a plan to change the system, and he didn't do it.